Every year has its moments, but some years change everything. 2026 is shaping to be one of those years. From global events that bring the world together to movies, anime, music, and stories that will dominate conversations for months or maybe years. Today we will be counting down the top 10 most anticipated things of 2026. This isn't just a hype, it's about impact. What people are waiting for, what people are wanting for, what people are talking about, and what about everything that will change everything in entertainment, culture, and much more. Time for the countdown. Kicking off the countdown at number 10 are books and light novels. And while this category might not always be dominant mainstream headlines in 2026, it's slapping it to be massive year for readers across fantasy, science fiction, and serialized storytelling. Fantasy fans in particular are keeping a close eye on Brandon Sanderson, whose cosmic universe continues to expand through carefully planned release and deeply interactive storylines. Whether it's continuation of an established saga or brand new perspective within the Cosmere, Sanders' works are known to be rich in world building, structured magic systems, and long-term payoffs. The kind of storytelling that rewards dedication and lots of good readers year after year. Sarah J. Maas also is expected to return with new material tied to her fantasy worlds, stories, and blends romance, political intrigue, and high-stakes magic. Her release consistently dominates bestseller lists, and every news entry sparks massive discussion across books communities, especially among readers invested in character-driven fantasy. On the light novel side, 2026 continues with a bang in global growth. Long-running series reaching critical story arcs, while titles are being introduced with anime adaptations already in mind. Those stories thrive fast-pacing, immense worlds, and character development that feel tailor-made for their adaptations. For fans following the ongoing light novel series, upcoming volumes promise to be turning point expansion of power systems, deeper world lore, and consequences that reshape their universe. These are filler arcs. These are moments readers have been waiting for to reach. At the same time, brand new light novels entering the scene may be designed to appeal for both long-time and newcomers. Fresh protagonists, unique twists on family genres, and modern themes make these new entries perfect starting points and for anyone to jump into the medium. From the epic fantasy giants, fast-rising light novels in 2026 proven to be ambitious and good storytelling, and that is the number 10 because everybody likes to have a good read. At number 9, AI and technology. In 2026, this isn't usually about new gadgets, it's about how technology quietly reshapes everyday life. Major companies like Apple are expected to roll out new upgrades across the phones, tablets, and home devices. That includes computers and laptops, focusing on to spend integration and smarter everyday use. These aren't just increment updates, that they're designed to help technology for everyday use. Makes us feel more intensive and at home with everything else. At some time, AI assistants like ChatGPT, Alexa, Siri continue to evolve, becoming more conversational, more content neutral, and more helpful and capable for help in real world tasks. From creative tools and productivity, accessibility, and entertainment, AI is moving from novelty to actual help and into factor. And in 2026, shift becomes impossible to ignore. AI won't feel experimental anymore. It'll feel embedded, shaping how content creators and how they show their stories and how they all create their own content. How people interact with AI for everyday use. Anyway, it's not like AI will turn against us like Ultron or any fictional character. Whether you are excited, cautious, and still figuring out one thing for certain is technology in 2026 ain't shutting down. It's going all the way up, and that earns it number 9 spot because AI will always be evolving this world the way it evolves society. Alright, let's get to the fun shots with number 8. At number 8 it is gaming, and let's get real everybody. This isn't just a hobby, gaming is culture, it's a way of life. In 2026, the gaming world is absolutely stacked with massive releases, long-awaited sequels, and updates to the popular games are pulling players into the sphere back in the day again. PS4, PS5, Sony, Nintendo, Xbox, even more. The biggest headlines are the Grand Theft Auto series, the 6th installation after years of waiting. Speculations are leaked footage of GTA 6 isn't just another game, it's an event, a living, breathing world people are going to explore for hundreds of hours. But it doesn't stop there. Across consoles or PC, major studios are pushing next-gen graphics, deeper open worlds, and gameplay systems built in around freedom, choice, and immersion. These are the kinds of games you don't just play, but you live in. MMORPGs and live series are games, not as serious as Sword Art Online, but long-running worlds are getting major expansions, networks, and quality of life updates that bring veterans back from a long break while welcoming new players to this world for the first time. And whether you're grinding raids, chasing seasonal events, or just logging in with friends to have a good time after school or during work while ignoring your boss, these games aren't about winning, they're about belonging somewhere. Streaming, esports, online communities, even the Nintendo Pokésphere continue to explode, turning everyday players into creators, commentators, and different personality. There's even fellow YouTubers like myself that actually like to react to these games. Gaming in 2026 isn't slowing down. It's bigger, louder, more connected than ever. And that's why it takes a number 8. Because this isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. It's a way to show culture and continuity. Coming back at number 7 are animated TV shows or TV. And if you think that animation is just background noise or quick laugh for kids, 2026 is here to prove you wrong otherwise. On the high impact and end of the shows like Invincible continue to redefine what animated storytelling is like over the last years. It's proven that animation can deliver brutal actions, emotional weight, and long-form character arcs that even rival live-action superhero TV shows. At the same time, nostalgia hits the waves, making powerful comeback. X-Men 97 from the 90s didn't just return, it reminded audience why Saturday mornings were impactful during our childhoods and why they mattered the most. Familiar characters, modern storytelling, and a tone of respected and unfinished character arcs welcome you back with a new twist. Then there are the pillars, the 3 most popular pillars. The Simpsons, Family Guy, and South Park remain cultural fixture for the last 20 or so years, evolving through the specials, events, episodes, seasons, sharper commentating, and keep them relevant for decades to come. On the comedy side, shows like Rick and Morty, Bob's Burgers, and the legacy of BoJack Horseman prove that animated comedy doesn't have to be chosen between laughs and meaning. These series balance observe humanity and humor with social commentary, emotional depth, and storytelling that sticks with viewers long after the episodes are over. Animated TV thrives because it has a far range. It tells us that it's not just for kids but for all ages. It could be outrageous, reflecting, nostalgic, experimental. Sometimes it could be the same episodes over and over. And in 2026, animation isn't just keeping up with television. It's quietly changing television and seeing what comes next, especially in this genre, where everything will always evolve no matter what age. At number 6, there are sports. And even if you don't follow every team or every start, in 2026 is one of those years that sports are really relevant. The headline moments is the FIFA World Cup, or even the first time in over 3 decades that the World Cup's biggest sporting event returns to the North America, hosted across the US, Canada, and Mexico. This isn't just another tournament. It's the biggest, loudest, and more connected than ever before. With expanded teams, massive stadium, and millions of fans traveling, streaming, and watching all around the world. The World Cup isn't about one country, it's about the world stopping and the same moment, celebrating victories, heartbreaks, and stories that only sports can create. For an American audience, the Super Bowl remains a cultural event of its own. One night, one game, and a spectacle that blends competition, music, commercials, conversation into something everyone talks about, even if they didn't watch it during the season. And one of the global stage, the Winter Olympics reminds us why sports matter. Beyond rivalries, athletes, and the peak of human ability. Years of preparation, one moment to make history happen. In 2026, sports aren't just about wins and losses. They are about shared experiences, moments that pull people together across border, language, and screens. And whether you're watching from the stands a couch, or your phone. These are events that the world will be talking about for the next couple of years. So sports will be good for this year and make an impact for the world. Alright, at number 5, we have animated movies just like TV shows. And yes, animation is often gets labeled as material for kids. But 2026 continues to prove that animated films are some of the most versatile and emotional tools for storytelling. The biggest headliner here is the Toy Story franchise that helped define modern animation most of the childhoods we all have. This time it's returning once again, and whether you grew up with it or not, introducing it to new generation of Toy Story remains one of those rare series that connects parents, kids, a long time fans in the same theater, this time with Woody and Buzz going up against AI. But animation in 2026 doesn't top at nostalgia. Major studios like Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, and Sony continue to push different styles of animation storytelling, from colorful family adventures to stylized experimental visuals that appeal to teens, adults, and even kids just as much as we know. We're also seeing animation a bunch and further into genre of fantasy world, sci-fi concepts, action-driven stories, and even darker, more mature themes, similar to what the audiences once loved in animated DC films or modern anime movies are becoming more common in theatrical releases. But more on that later. These aren't just movies designed to distract kids from 90 minutes to 130 minutes. They are films around emotion, world building, and visual creativity, stories that can say things live action sometimes can't. And a year packed with massive blockbusters, animated films continue to quietly shape culture, creating moments that are familiar, share memes, and spread online stories that kick off and stick with you forever. Animation may not always be dominant in the headlines, but 2026 remains one of the most reliable to tell stories resonate across the generations, no matter what type of studio or what type of audience produces them. At number 4, we have music. And unlike movies or TVs, music doesn't belong to one genre or one generation or one platform. It's everywhere. In our headphones, in our cars, in our viral clips, and in the moments we remember most throughout the years. 2026 is shaping up to be a major year for both returning icons and rising voices. Established artists across the pop, hip-hop, R&B, rock, and global music are expected to drop new albums, projects fans have been waiting for years to hear. These are the releases that dominate the spark of music, online debates, and sets a tone for years to come. At the same time, new artists continue to break through faster than ever. Songs don't just climb the charts anymore. They explode through social media, gaming culture, 5 streams, and short film videos, one track launched career oversight, up, along with a lot of different music streaming services. Live music is also a huge part of the excitement. It's better to always want to watch your favorite artist or song on live, whether it's in a concert or on TV. Major world tours or festivals, returns, and sold out arenas are putting up concerts for great artists to pop culture. Whether it's stadium shows, intimate venues, or global festival stages, 2026 is a year built for crowds, energy, and shared moments. Award shows like the Grammys and other major ceremonies still act as cultural checkpoints, moments where artists trend to genres collide one stage to another, shaping the conversation around the music industry right now. And no matter what you listen to, hype tracks, emotional ballads, throwbacks, experimental sounds, music remains the most constant and connects people across generations. 2026 soundtrack isn't playing the background, it's leading to the moment, with a lot of returning iconic artists going on tour, dropping new albums and belated comebacks. This is what music's all about. Alright, kicking it to the top 3. And the number 3rd place is the anime category, which is really impactful this year. What separates this year from previous seasons isn't simply the number of new anime, but the number of returning anime. It's where the stories are finally arriving. Several major anime are now adapting their most important light novel arcs. The chapters where the character faces off real consequences, world changes, direction, and long-running narratives evolve into something far heavier and more meaningful that can never be returned. Jobless Reincarnation this year, for example, it's entering its 3rd season. Rudeus' journey moves beyond personal growth this time and into responsibility as he and his new family face challenges that test everything they've built together. As for Reincarnated as a Slime, that changes everything because it's not only coming up with season 4 with 5 different cores and 2 consecutive ones, but an original movie coming out next month, canon to the story. But during the 4th season, Rimuru rises no longer, defined solely by power or diplomacy, but uncovering political truths and the real secrets of the world and the hero. This year is going to be big for the series, and it's going to be able to make everything different while the arcs shift, new characters are introduced, and a new heavier plot coming here. Ever since the light novels came to an end, the anime is going beyond and ready to end itself sooner or later. These arcs will shift everything together and ready for it to blow up. Meanwhile, Oshinoko, or My Star Is Now in English, continues next month, or literally this month, to descend into darker territory, where Ruby finally steps into the protagonist role, stepping deeper and deeper into the shadows of the entertainment industry to achieve her new goal, where a glamour gives way exploitation, obsession, and emotional cost. Given down to the dark path the girl is gonna be sending. The story challenges audiences to question fame itself and what it takes from those who pursue it, whether they throw other beliefs away or what they will do next. And as for ReZero Season 4, it's going on to its most ambitious arc ever, as Subaru's struggles aren't the same as surviving time loops. It's time for him to decide if he will use his time loop ability. It's about confronting trauma, fear, and identity head on for him to reach his goals. These moments aren't flashy, they are devastating, and that's exactly why they resonate with people across genres. Fantasy, psychological drama, political intrigue. Anime in 2026 demonstrate just how far the medium has evolved. These stories aren't merely escalating scale. They are deepening the meaning of what storytelling is in the East Side. Anime fans recognize this moment. There are arcs that spark discussion, debate, and long-term impact on certain episodes that people will revisit online and throughout the media. The scenes that define the entire series. That's why anime earns the number 2 spot. Not because of its trendiness and cringiness or bias, but because these stories are finally really saying what we are all thinking, what they've been building up to, and what their goals are. And from here, this list is getting bigger and better. Time to knock it out to the next step. Alright, landing second place is going to be Live TV. This year marks a major turning point for serialized storytelling, especially the superhero genre, where television isn't just telling side stories, it's shaping universes and creating conversations. One of the biggest moments this will arrive will be in the final season of The Boys. After years of early shock, horror, and psychological disturbance, as well as social commentary, the series reaches its endgame. This isn't just another season, it's the conclusion of the whole series, one of the most disruptive, disturbing superhero series ever adapted. Fans aren't turning their heads again. They're watching to see the power, corruption, and morality finally collide, and who's gonna be left standing at the very end when the curtain falls. In other hands, Marvel's Daredevil Born Again will also be premiering its second season, which is going to make a big impact this time because it goes beyond Hell's Kitchen. This is when television sets up movies. Much to how the Arrowverse proved with Arrow, Supergirl, and The Flash, and the interconnected storytelling, building up something larger than a single show. Born Again represents the Marvel's version of renewed commitment for long-term storytelling that actually matters as well. Matt Murdock journeys doesn't stop on that small screen. It feeds directly to what's coming up next, including the setup for Spider-Man Brand New Day later in the year. This kind of crossover synergy reminds audiences that shared universes work when they're planned rather than patient and character-driven. Beyond superhero shows and television, it also continues to expand in different ways. An example, the Game of Thrones universe grows with another prequel series, not just chasing nostalgia but exploring the history, politics, and power struggles that made the original world and show compelling. There aren't even quick spin-offs. There is long-term investment in the worlds and audiences that's still hungry to explore the lore. Across genres, superhero, fantasy, politic, drama, live action TV in 2026 proves one other thing clearly. This is no longer secondary media anymore. It's not just regular television. Television is where stories breathe, where characters evolve, and where the fundamentals of blockbuster normies are created and quietly built. That's why live action TV shows matters and will take the number 2 spot. Because before the bigger events hit theaters, before the universe collides, before everything begins, there's always has to be a launching point. And that leads to questions: what will be number 1 and what will be the power struggle to make sure this year 2026 turns out great medium. Alright, now we are doing number 1, baby. And it is live action movies. So this year is stacked. First of all, with Disney. Disney's doing a remake of the Moana movie that came out like 10 years ago or so. They're gonna do it in a live action. See how it goes this time for the next movie and see if it could surpass the one that came out last year. And as we also have the Dune franchise, which is releasing its 3rd movie to conclude its story, and as well as another Hunger Games movie. This time it's a prequel, and it takes place 15 years before the original story begins, giving one of our fan favorite characters his actual backstory in his experience in the Hunger Games before Katniss Everdeen ever volunteered. And also we got upcoming returning comedy from the Meet the Parents franchise, seeing another movie where our favorite comedians, seeing what the next installment is, having a lot of fun with Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, and Robert De Niro. And last but not least, the most important ones, to pop culture at least, are the superhero movies for both DC and Marvel. DC's new movie Supergirl, coming out next summer, part of James Gunn's new cinematic universe and reboot, see what happens and see if it could surpass last year's. And as for the MCU, we got 2 blockbusters over the summer. Spider-Man Brand New Day, taking place right after Spider-Man No Way Home, where Peter Parker is no more, just Spider-Man. It's time for him to struggle and see how life is without no one knowing the real him. See how he solves his own problems, and see what happens with fan favorite returning characters, new characters, to make this a street level grounded superhero film for the ages. And as for the other one, there needs no introduction. The last movie, which ironically is going to be coming out at the end of this year, is Avengers Doomsday, 5th Avengers movie, and starting to end the multiverse saga in Phase 6. This movie is going to be partly adapted from a comic book for this part, and the second part, multiverse crossovers with Marvel's favorite characters from all franchises, and having one of our favorite A-list MCU actors in a new role as well. So let's see what happens with this crisis and see how everybody works together to overcome it. That is the number 1 category of this countdown. And that concludes the first episode of my podcast, The MG Experience, starting with this countdown for this year. Now, please let me know what you guys think about this countdown. Write down what you think is better. Tell me what you want to see this year, what you're looking forward to. Please like and subscribe to my new channel podcast, The MG Experience. So, till next time.